I think in the digital age, you've got so many media messages bombarding you, and we live in this era of information overload. If you compare your brain to a computer, they say your brain computes something like 4 billion bytes a day, of which your brain actually filters and puts through about 2,000 of those thoughts. It's almost like reading 23 words per second on a daily basis. So for brands, they've really got to almost be like a lighthouse, a beacon, to draw those loyal customers or new customers to them. But I think the most important thing is it also has to be very relevant to a consumer's life. I think the key thing to remember in the 21st century is that media has become completely free and democratized, but people's attention is not free, and that's what you're fighting for. And I think the two key factors in the success of a brand or a brand design is humor and relevance to somebody's life. It's no coincidence that they've actually started calling advertising branded entertainment. And the benchmark of a good ad is whether or not it's been passed on via social media like YouTube. And also it's got to really resonate with my life. It's got to make sure that it's relevant to me, otherwise I'm just going to filter it out. And I think the more we move into a technological age, the more our brains actually act as firewalls. And if it doesn't resonate with me, and if it's not relevant and it's not funny, I'm going to filter it out. New media is like a fantastic new playground for everybody, really. And I think the difficulty is that brands or companies have traditionally been very anal about how they protect the brand design or the iconic design of their logos. But customization and personalization are two of the biggest sort of trend movements coming forward. People want to engage with the brand, and they want to contribute to a brand as well. They don't want to be passive consumers. So, for example, a company like Google will change their landing page logo, whether it's Beijing Olympics, Soccer World Cup. You know it's Google. Consumers aren't stupid, but they just have fun with it, and it just gives a little bit more entertainment to that consumer. I think one of the key things that was lost in the recession is trust with certain brands and certain companies. And in terms of branding or branding design, that emotional connection with the consumer is the most important thing. And I think what's really important for brands to understand is that the design, the logo can't just be a pretty logo and with a bit of hype surrounding it. You've got to resonate with your consumer. A consumer's loyalty will be pegged to a brand if that brand checks certain boxes that reflect their value systems. So what's their green credentials, what CSI, social upliftment they do, those are important things. So there's got to be a much deeper meaning to a brand than just the logo. The brand sluts were people that were very loyal to a certain brand before the recession, but during the recession were squeezed financially, so they had no choice but to opt for a cheaper brand or a no-name brand. But I think to their delight and surprise, they found out that it really was the look, not the logo, that counted. So that kind of status, wanting to chase status, has shifted. And I think once we see the recession clear, you're going to find a whole new generation of, let's call them logo indifferent people that are just going to be more resourceful and finding a way in which to dress themselves or to furnish their homes without necessarily having to buy a specific brand, which is very difficult for those brands. So they've got to work 10 times harder to make sure they get that loyalty back.